Hello guys, how's it going? In this video I want to talk to you about why it might not be a great idea to quit your job when you start Amazon FBA, or even if your Amazon FBA business is already going well, why you still shouldn't quit your job and how that's going to hinder your business, how it's going to affect you, and also about smart investing and thinking about how much money you have and why you shouldn't actually put all of that into Amazon and why that's a very bad idea. It might actually be better to put half of your investment in, and in most cases that's going to go a lot better for you than putting in your entire savings or your entire amount you've got saved up to put into Amazon. Just why you might want to rethink that strategy. So I'm sure many of you are going to enjoy this video. It's going to be one that can relate to almost every single person watching this one. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So guys, before I actually get into this and break down what I've got here on the screen, I'd appreciate if everyone went down and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and we're so close to 1,000 subscribers that we're going to hit it any day now. So any single subscribe could be the 1,000 subscribers to the channel, and it would really mean a lot because it's going to be a big giveaway and there's so many prizes when I do hit 1,000 subscribers that it's really going to help every single one of you. So definitely go ahead and do that. But moving on to what I have on the screen now, I've kind of laid out a little scenario just to kind of explain what I'm talking about and why you shouldn't quit your job when you start Amazon. And then I'm going to move on to the other points that I'm going to talk about in this video after we've gone through this example. So let's just say at the minute you've put £2,000 into Amazon and that is all you've saved up. You've saved up £2,000 as the max in your bank and you decided to put it all into Amazon because you believe in it that much. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're going to talk about it more after this scenario. So you've put in the £2,000 and for that you've got 400 units of a product that sells 200 units per month. So that's absolutely fine, fantastic, you found a good product, you've ordered the units, you're already getting further than most people do. So absolutely perfect, so you've done that. But when we think about reordering and doing these types of things and cash flow, that's when you're going to run into all of your serious problems in not having a job or starting this when you're not employed or quitting your job as soon as you find a product you think it's going to go amazing, which it might go amazing, but let me just explain why you're going to come into severe difficulties if you go down that route. So for most products, and like I said guys, whenever I do a scenario on the channel, I try to be as generous as possible to give you a real world scenario that could possibly work. So say our product takes 15 days for our supplier in China to produce, and it takes 30 days to ship here by sea, which is how most people are going to ship for their first, second, third order, because it is just much cheaper. Those numbers are very unrealistic, but even if we use those numbers, this scenario will still prove my point. But being more realistic, it's going to take around 30 days production and maybe 45 days by sea to get here. Those are just very realistic. It's probably what it's going to be. But whichever number we use, say we use the latter, the more realistic one, we're going to have a 75-day lead time, which means it's going to take 75 days from ordering for our product to get to Amazon. So if we have 400 units in Amazon now of a product that sells 200 per month, we would have to order the second our units get to Amazon to not go out of stock. And what you have to understand is that Amazon pays you out every 2 weeks, and your first 2 weeks is going to be launching, it's going to be ranking, it's going to basically be trying to get to that first page. And when you're doing that, you're most likely going to be breaking even or not making much profit. And even that second 2 weeks, so a month in, you're probably still not going to be making as much profit as you initially planned because you're still ranking, you're still testing your PPC, you're still doing these things that can go on for weeks and weeks. So while your money is still tied up for those first 2 to 4 weeks, you're going to be getting money back, but it's going to be at cost. So you're not going to be getting that much money back, to be honest, really. You're not going to be getting hardly anything back. So for that first month, you're going to be getting hardly any money back, not enough to reorder, that you're definitely going to go out of stock. And going out of stock isn't a bad thing. So even if you ordered on day dot, as soon as your product gets there, which I don't understand why anyone would do that, you might still go out of stock for a week or two, which isn't a bad thing because over those first 2 months, you've built up sales history, you've built up sales, you've built up all these things that help you rank again. So if you do go out of stock, re-ranking isn't that bad. But if you don't have any other money to pull in once you've already started, if that £2,000 is all you have no other source of income, then you're basically going to have to wait until you almost completely run out of stock to reorder. And when you go out of stock for 2-3 months, that's when you're going to start to run into issues for ranking again, because your sales history is going to go up, down, and just completely flat for 2-3 months, and then spike up again, which isn't that great. If you go out of stock for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you could pull it back. It gets harder the longer it gets, but you want to be out of stock for as minimal amount of time as possible. And if you have no other money to pull in and to invest other than that £2,000, it's going to take you a while to get that back. Hence why you're going to have to order when you've almost sold all of your units. And it's just not a very good way to go about it. You're going to do that over and over and over again. You're going to get in going to get in stock, going to start to rank, go out of stock, be out for 2 months, do it again, do it again, do it again, and then you're just not going to get anywhere. You're going to constantly be pouring money down the drain, trying to re-rank your product every time it goes out of stock, which is just going to eliminate all the passiveness, all of the fun of Amazon FBA, because every sale you're making, you know deep down you're not making profit on that. You know deep down that you're not really gaining anything. You're just ranking your product to lose it again. So even though your sales history will build up over time, it's just going to be so difficult for you. So if you quit your job when you found a product, then you can see the issues that you run into. But if you've got £1,500, £2,000 coming in every single month that you can reinvest as much of that as possible, then you're going to be able to reorder bigger amounts, better amounts, faster amounts every single time you've got out of stock. You're going to scale and build your Amazon business much, much faster. And this also leads into the second point I said I was going to talk about in this video, is why you shouldn't invest the full amount. And this doesn't mean that if you've got £1,000, invest 500, because that probably isn't going to go well for you in private label. I'm talking about if you've got £5,000, only investing 3,000, or if you've got 6,000, investing 4,000. Because in my experience, if someone's to invest that full 6,000, then they're going to run into this exact same scenario where you're going to run out of stock and you're going to have no money left to reorder. But if you're thinking long term about your business, about cash flow, then it's always going to work better for you to have money in the bank even for a reorder rather than using all in the first place. So if you've got that 6,000 and you invest 4,000 and your product goes really well, you can reorder like that immediately because you've still got £2,000 that can go into it. And it also minimises your risk of if something does go wrong, you haven't put in that full 6,000. So for the longevity of your business, for the first year, maybe more, you've got to think about cash flow. How are you going to have money coming in to reorder? How are you not going to go out of stock? Because cash flow in any inventory business is very, very hard. If anyone watching this has watched Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, any of these entrepreneur shows, you'll see that most of the people that come on are inventory businesses that need money because they can't keep up with the demand. And that is exactly the same as an Amazon FBA business, that most likely at the start, you're not going to have the cash flow to keep up with demand. So for as long as you can stay in your job and get that cash flow, even if you hate your job, if that job is going to building an Amazon business that's actually going to be sustainable, then it's well worth it. Because if you quit your job too early, it is going to negatively affect your Amazon business and almost kill off your Amazon business in some cases. That I see people starting products that are selling 200-300 units a month, and the product can be the best product in the world. It's selling 200-300 units a month, really low reviews, just absolutely perfect, say 80% margin. It's the best product in the world. It's just completely unachievable. And they try and start that product with £500. You're just going to go out of stock. You don't have the cash flow and the money to launch a product like that. So you have to be realistic about what products you're looking at. If you have £1,000, don't be looking at products that are selling for £25 and sell 300 units a month, because you're not going to be able to afford the stock, the inventory to reorder and do all these things to stay in stock. So it's just completely unachievable. So this is where you've got to think about cash flow. You've got to think about your job. You've got to think about inventory. How are you going to afford it? How are you going to think long term? So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you can understand what I'm trying to talk to you about here and why it's so important to stay in your job just for as long as possible, just for the cash flow, just for your business. Just stick it out for your business, and I'm sure it will pay off in the long run. So if you have enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you click the subscribe button and turn on that bell notification, and of course give the video a thumbs up and share the video to anyone else you think would be interested in it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.